our chief guest, of the annual seminar opening ceremony, FCPA Karen Karaoke, our national chairman, CPA Benson Okudi, our national vice chairman, FCPA Fernandez Barasa, our council members, honorable CPA honorable members of parliament present. I've spotted one of our own, Honorable Mwandegu, Honorable CPA Buddy, among others. Fellows of the Institute, I can't forget to mention you because of the significant contributions you've made to the Institute and the accountancy profession in general. Full members of the Institute, like me, I'm also a member, despite being your CEO. Associate members, and I can't take it for granted that there are even students who are with us here today. Including, I cannot take it for granted that it's only accountants who are here. Friends of the Institute. I have seen engineers here. I've seen bankers who are not members of the Institute. I've seen economists. I've even seen a medical doctor who told me once in a while he comes for our conferences. I take this opportunity to welcome you all. I want also to tell you that this year's, the 31st annual seminar is modeled around the feedback that you gave us last year. And I want to encourage you, if you still find something that we can do better than last year and this year, kindly do not hesitate to tell us. I want also to commend our national chairman and the council members, and particularly the convener of Member Services Committee. To have this function come this far, it required, or it has taken great part of their time and contribution, including a planning committee at the Secretariat. So I'm very happy to be here, and I want to invite the chairman, none other than CPA George Mokua.
Thank you very much, CPA Dr. Patrick Ngumi. Thank you very much for that elaborate introduction. Our chief guest, FCPA Karen Karaoke, the CEO of Unclaimed Assets Authority. Our outgoing national chairman of ICPAK, CPA Benson Okundi. Once again, CEO ICPAK, CPA Dr. Patrick. Council members present here today, invited guests, fellow CPAs, ladies and gentlemen. It's a great honor for me to welcome you all to this year's 31st annual seminar, proudly hosted, as has been before, by ICPAK Coast Branch. I'm the chairman of the branch, and I've been serving the branch leadership for the last 8 years. I'm on my last year of duty. When you become the chairman of the branch, you only serve for 2 years, non-renewable. So my term comes to the end next year, May. God willing, I'll be saying goodbye during the second annual seminar next year. Mungu akituweka mpaka hiyo wakati. I think I'm the longest serving branch executive in the country. Ladies and gentlemen, fellow CPS, don't I deserve a big hand of applause for the work that I've done for the branch? Ladies and gentlemen, this conference brings together 1,500 delegates. This is one of the biggest gatherings of any profession you can think of in the country. And it cannot come at a better time than this one.
Our chief guest, of the annual seminar opening ceremony, FCPA Karen Karaoke, our national chairman, CPA Benson Okudi, our national vice chairman, FCPA Fernandez Barasa, our council members, honorable CPA honorable members of parliament present. I've spotted one of our own, Honorable Mwandegu, Honorable CPA Buddy, among others. fellows of the Institute, I can't forget to mention you because of the significant contributions you've made to the Institute and the accountancy profession in general. Full members of the Institute, like me, I'm also a member, despite being your CEO. Associate members, and I can't take it for granted that there are even students who are with us here today. Including, I cannot take it for granted that it's only accountants who are here. Friends of the Institute. I have seen engineers here. I've seen bankers who are not members of the Institute. I've seen economists. I've even seen a medical doctor who told me once in a while he comes for our conferences. I take this opportunity to welcome you all.
Mombasa is a historical city with rich cultural history that our participants will have a chance to sample. This annual seminar this year brings more than 1,500 accountants and captains of the industry together. It's the biggest single event that is ever held in this country. It therefore presents an extraordinary opportunity to meet and exchange ideas on crucial matters affecting our profession and our country. One of the critical measures that we must do to regulate the profession is to ensure that we take full control of the value chain of accountancy as a profession. The bookkeeper that may not be a member of the Institute, but has a responsibility for collecting and entering the data. The data analyst that analyzes the data that has been entered and gives meaningful information and interpretation. The accountant who prepares those financials and reports to the management, and the CEO that may not be a member of the Institute, but has a responsibility on the governance. Those must be fully regulated. Unless we do that, we shall continue to encounter the challenges that we are having today.
We do have agencies such as the Salaries and Remuneration Commission putting in place strategic measures, but professionals need to speak louder and more often on the challenge of short-term as a planning horizon. 6, politics always tips the balance. It gives me great joy to note that you have dedicated a whole session to discuss matters related to politics and professionalism. I therefore need not say much on this, but what we need to do as a country is to celebrate our victories and learn from our mistakes. Our politics tended to be described to us by news outlets as a dirty, tricky enterprise. I do not for a moment doubt that we can and should raise the bar on the conduct of politics, but I'm not too naive as to imagine we have done so poorly. Despite our painful hiccups, some so gross that human lives were lost, our political train remains largely on the tracks. Given the fact that in terrorism, there are financial transactions involved, we know how to connect the financial dots, retrieve transnational monetary trails, and we also know what they imply. Let us lend our expertise when called upon. My final thoughts on security is that in making Kenya secure, we do not do so for investors. We do so first and foremost for ourselves and our generations.
At this point, there's something that you want to launch. It's a technological product. It's something that's going to enable us to be able to serve you much better, to bring service close to you, and in summary, to have ICPAK in your pocket. What you're about to launch is called the ICPAK Live. ICPAK Live is a mobile application that has essentially everything that we'd like to do with the Institute.
I really want to say how excited I am that we are actually getting into the digital age, right? One of the things when I took over member services last year at a time like this was I really challenged the team at the Secretariat at ICPAK to actually come up with more user-friendly ways in which ICPAK members can actually interact with ICPAK. And I said sometimes some of the eConnect messages that were sent on a daily basis are not very user-friendly or very exciting when you're logging onto it, because even it comes in as an email that has no color. So this has been part of a year-long process to come up with an app. However, I'm also challenging them. I have an Apple devices, so please make sure you're doing something for all of us who have Apple devices, and for all of us who are still on we used to call them the old Mulika Muizis. Make sure we also have a way of accessing some of these services. The advantages of this is really to improve your connection with ICPAK. You will be able to, through this application, by clicking onto it, you can go in and you can see your CPD hours. You can actually go in there and ask questions.
When you want to walk fast, you walk alone. But when you want to walk far, you work as a team. And in Tourism Fund, what we do is we want to walk far because we are the World Bank of the tourism industry. So before I continue, allow me to introduce my colleague, who is the regional manager, the coastal region. And I know most of you who work with the tourism industry, you've been having a one-on-one in your daily duties. David?
I want to take this opportunity to welcome all of you to Coast Region. I know most of you are accountants, and I know in one way or the other, when we are doing our duties outside, we interact. And you are most welcome to Coast Region, and feel free even to spend. As an accountant, we are told that we don't spend, but I know this time you are going to spend whatever you have, and you leave it here in Coast Region. We are most welcome, and we are very happy. Thanks.
Tourism Fund is a body corporate established under the Tourism Act 2011. That was enacted, was operationalized on 1st September 2012 via the special issue, Kenya Gazette Supplement number 93 of 24th August 2012. It doesn't mean that we are only four years old, if I'm correct, but previously we were known as CTDLT. We had a very long name, and I suspect that my former boss, since he had a problem of saying CTDLT, he lobbied to change it to Tourism Fund. Anyway, what then are our objectives? Our objectives is, like I said, we are like the World Bank of the tourism industry. And our main focus, the objective and purpose of the organization is to finance development of tourism products and services, marketing of Kenya as a tourist destination through the Kenya Tourist Board, financing the activities of the protection services, financing the tourism research, tourism intelligence, and the national tourism information management systems, financing the activities of the tourism sector, safety, communication, and crisis management centers, financing the training and capacity development activities, and to mobilize resources to support tourism-related activities in the country. What then do we say our functions are? Our functions are quite many, but I'll just mention a few. One is to collect the tourism levy imposed under Section 105 of the Act. Another is to establish, equip, and control tourism and hospitality training institution. One in place currently is the Kenya Utalii College. Another one, we are having one at the Kilifi region that is under construction right now. It's going to be called the Ronangala Utalii College. And also to establish a tourism training revolving fund, amongst so many other.
You know, there are some things in life that we can struggle with. We can struggle maybe to make our first million. But in our dreams, we can just become millionaires, just like that. We can. And so it's important that we understand that dreaming becomes a very important part of our living. But we mustn't stay there forever, of course. I want to share with you a few things about dreaming that you might not know about. For example, did you know that when you're dreaming, you're temporarily paralyzed? You are. I struggle to find out and understand how some people can talk in their sleep. What you are dreaming of in the dream world is actually incorporated in the real world. And how wonderful that would be for each one of us in the room, that when we have dreams for our lives, we are able to take them out of the dream world and actually implement them in our lives. We're talking about dreams for those of you who have just walked in. We tend to dream of forbidden things. This is normally the men, eh? Yeah, the men normally dream of forbidden things. We work with particular wonderful people, certain ladies, and then we are desirous after them. But because we cannot articulate it in real life, we find space in our dreams. Some great inventions were made out of dreams. Vincent van Gogh, for those of you who don't know him, he was a painter. And he said, this is a quote from him, "I dream my paintings and then I paint my dreams." While he was alive, he was a blind man, and when he died, he had never sold a single painting. But he became a multimillionaire after he had died. When I look around the room today and I think of Miles Monroe, who passed away recently, and he said, one of his statements were, some of the greatest dreams and inventions and innovations are in the grave because people did not wake up. That is the magic of waking up today. Let me tell you something about the magic of waking up. If you have a dream and you are focused on getting somewhere, you cannot be distracted. There's no time for distraction. We've come to conference to achieve particular goals, and if we get distracted by small things like the heat, for example, which is very distractive, or anything, someone walking over there, Tom is walking, we can simply get distracted by that. We will lose focus on why we are here. But I want to submit to you this afternoon that success is about fulfillment. It's about significance. It's about impact. It is about making a difference in the world today. And while you're here on a business conference, do not make your conference too technical, too formal, without forgetting the soul of why you're here. Because we're all people. And when we leave this place, we want to be more people that are more engaged. People that want to do good for this country, beautiful country. That want to make sure that actually you get people to come and visit your country. That you do more business. That you become a leading part. I don't see why South Africa should be considered as the hub of Africa when you are halfway into the country, into the continent. This should be the hub. I believe I can fly. I believe I can touch the sky. I think about it every night and day. I spread my wings and fly away. So I believe I can soar. I see me running through an open door. I believe I can fly. I believe I can fly. I believe I can fly.
Members will agree with me that the ICPAK you know today, in terms of visibility, is not the ICPAK you knew 3 years ago. We used to be asked several times, you guys are not commenting on the issues of public nature. You are not appearing on the media. You're not like LSK. But I can confirm to you, when ICPAK speaks today, ICPAK is highly respected because our mode of discussions or our substance of discussions in the public limelight are in the areas that add value on areas of budget, areas of governance, areas of taxation, public policy, and governance. So we have enhanced significantly public policy governance aspect of the Institute. We are very visible in the media. Even today I gave a media briefing after the opening ceremony. This has become the norm, two times a month, but in the positive way. Not just visibility because we want to be seen, but visibility for good reason. And I think you can clearly tell that, members. The second project, which has been very complex, as its name suggests, is ICPAK Complex. So ICPAK Complex has been extremely complex. And some of you are asking, council members, did you chew ICPAK's money? What's happening? This complex has been in progress for the last 3 years. What's exactly happening? Let me shed some light here. And if you have a pen and paper, I want you to write down the numbers.
GCL is three-pointed, and so is my agenda. Number 1, my interest is in having the branches get official offices that are physical. What does that mean? As we have heard, the branches used to be weak. The first area we started on, being in Member Services Committee, is to look at how to take CPD hours to the branches.
I am standing on a 3 agenda for the council. The first one is we need to create opportunities. We need to bake the biggest cake so that every member of ICPAK shall have a share. From the branches, we have unemployed. Even paying for subscription is an issue for members at the grassroots. Running of the branch offices is an issue. I agree with you that we need to create a retainer account for the branches because that's where the bulk of the ICPAK members are.
My message is about a transformation, a synergy, and professionalism. Now, through my work, and I've been privileged to work in several sectors of